In today's healthy inside and out, achieving unity and synergy in relationships is key. Joining us now with how to do that is author and podcaster Matthew P. Hoffman. Welcome back to Bloom, Matthew.
Hey, great to be with you on this gorgeous day, Gail.
Yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous. And I have to ask you, I know that you kind of link synergy with Clydesdale horses. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's interesting. So Clydesdales are super strong animals, Gail, and when they're equally yoked, that means they can work great together. And it's no different in our number one relationship, right? If we're not equally yoked with our spouse, then there's going to be problems, and we're not going to be pulling in the best direction with maximized results.
Yeah, when you look at this video that we're showing right now of the Clydesdales, I mean, they're literally pulling a semi-truck in unison, working together. And you say this example is very much what it needs to be in our lives and how we run our relationships. So how do we do that?
Well, no doubt. I mean, one Clydesdale, Gail, can pull 2 tons on its own, right? So you say, gosh, if we add 2 of them together, that means 4 tons. But together, 2 Clydesdales can pull 10. And when you are in unity and synergy with your spouse, that means you have a common platform, you're coming from a shared perspective, and you're both pulling and headed in the same direction. The results can be really amazing because you're not solo, you're not independent, not even parallel, but you're together pulling the same rope.
Yeah, well, for a lot of couples, it's like that old horse costume where one's the head and one's the butt. They're going in opposite directions. So how do we move together?
Well, that's a great question, and we want to make sure that we're having unity and that really the values, the perspective that we share is the same, Gail. And a way to do that is to making sure that you and your spouse are validating each other, not blowing sunshine and saying, you're perfect, but looking at the good and speaking it. And I think if everybody kept asking themselves the question, am I creating separateness or closeness in our relationship with the actions that I'm taking? Another thing you can do is making sure that you look for the positive intention in your spouse and knowing that if they have your best case scenario, if they always have your best at heart, that means they want you to maximize and do your best, then you've got to recognize that and know that their motive and their intent is really for the greatest good in you.
What if you find yourself not on the same page and you can't find this common ground to move together?
It's tough because sometimes you've got it. You're not going to always be the same. Having unity doesn't mean that you're exactly the same. Having unity and synergy is that you're willing to maybe give up what you think is best for you because you want to win for the relationship. And so if the relationship wins, then both people in the relationship win, right? It's not about I'm right, you're wrong, or my way wins the day. It very may well be that, Gail, with you and your husband, that you've got the best idea, and he says, you know what, I want us to win, so let's take that idea, because if it's a win for the relationship, then both people benefit. And so it's about just changing your perspective on that a little bit.
What happens when you're stubborn and you're just not willing to do that in your relationship? How does it chip away at things?
Well, what's interesting is when we have a me first attitude, right? You're not thinking about the relationship, you're thinking about what's best for me, right? Everybody loves their favorite radio station, WIIFM, what's in it for me? And when we change our perspective and we're thinking about us, we're leaving our spouse out of the equation and out. So if it's a win for us but not for them, then the relationship doesn't win. And I think sometimes we can be selfish because we're thinking about what we want and what we need as opposed to what does the relationship need.
So you're basically saying, like, getting on the same page and doing what's right for the relationship could actually be a selling point when you're talking to your partner. You could be like, hey, this isn't just about me. Getting on the same page is about us, and that's how you vet how to stay on the same page.
Exactly. And sometimes, Gail, it might be my idea or my thought or solution is best. It might be that yours or your partner or your spouse's is. And it's kind of being willing to accept that influence. We've talked about that before. When you can accept influence from your spouse, that means you're thinking they have something of value. It validates them. But if it if it's good for the relationship, then everybody wins together. You know, when those Clydesdales are pulling and working together, they both win because they both achieve and they get the task done that's in front of them right then and there.
Matthew, as always, it's so great catching up with you.
Thanks, Gail. Great to be with you again today, too.
And of course, Matthew and his wife Kim have a great podcast, and Matthew's out with a book. I'll put all that information for you on our website, WFLA.com/Bloom. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.